Good afternoon, I'm Rick Dasher. Welcome to Exploregon, and we are in Coos Bay and North Bend at the Coquill's big event of the year, Salmon Bake, the Mill Luck, and we just got done with the canoe races, and this is Sherrod.
Yeah.
And how did this get started?
So about 17 years ago, the tribe had hosted a culture conference here so that visiting tribes and local southwestern Oregon tribes could gather and talk and present papers and talk about culture. And at that time point, the Coquille had just finished carving a very large 900-pound makmak, or a river style canoe. And my buddy Doug back here and his friend,
That's Doug.
they had a couple of canoes. They had a shallow river style shovel nose canoe, and they were giving us a hard time about how big our canoe was and how their canoe was faster. And so we decided that, well, if you want to see how fast they are, we'll race, but we get to pick the time and the place. So we waited for the afternoon. We wanted it in the afternoon, and there was a little end of a log here, and we decided we race south and then turn left around that pier and then come back up as a finish line. Well, anybody who lives here in Coos Bay knows that the wind picks up in the afternoon,
Right.
and you got an incoming tide, so you end up with waves. Well, we have a big tank river canoe, and they have a really shallow drafting shovel canoe. And so when we started off, they were shot out in front, but they were so excited to beat us, they were kind of zigzagging and not going in a straight line. We got to that little pier, they turned sideways, and I'm not exactly sure, but we might have kind of clipped them and pushed them broadside into those waves. And one good wave, and they were swimming, and somehow we kind of won that race.
So
right?
This turned into that little challenge with a couple of guys in the tribe and a couple of boats, and showing off turned into something that it becomes really cultural for the tribe.
And something that actually bonds us together.
And I wasn't in that canoe.
You weren't in that canoe.
No, I was not in that canoe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
My
that's
memory
okay.
is fuzzy.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
That was the very first one, and that one had a few holes in it too.
Yeah.
So
Because when you
culturally,
pushed it, it went.
So culturally, why is this such a big deal for the tribes?
Just
for
getting
all
us,
the tribes?
just bringing us back
Bringing
together.
us together, right? Food, canoe races, anytime that we can share together. For the most part, our tribes operate as two political entities, and we don't always get along, but we need to.
Right.
And this is a way that we can remind ourselves that we are, although we're different tribes, we are the same people that occupy the same land, and can bring us together and hopefully teach our kids, when they become leaders, that they can work together. This friendship that they create in racing competitive that we can.
Well, and with the events going on today, there's a salmon bake, you guys. You can come down here and get food. You can enjoy. We just walked through all the different beatery, and they're making flint napping and that kind of stuff. It's a way of bringing your culture back to Oregon, because I mean, what we call ourselves is Exploregon, and if we're going to explore Oregon, your people were here before it was Oregon.
Before it was explored.
Right.
And the making of those things also helps us to remind us what our ancestors went through and how they made that, so we can draw upon that feeling and apply it to everything else that we do in our life, right?
So you're trying to bring the language back.
Yeah, and this culture, we say culture is prevention. So culture is drug and alcohol prevention, and that's what I do. We do healing of the canoe stuff, a curriculum actually, get the kids in the water, get them off drugs and alcohol, give them something else to look forward to. And so bringing all this teachings that we do, bringing it to everybody, is kind of adding to our culture, and so they can pass it on to their kids.
So how does culture prevent drug and alcohol abuse?
Just by doing it.
And we don't allow that stuff there.
Yeah,
we
this
just
is
don't
a drug and
allow
alcohol-free event. Same as our powwows or our potlatches, it's all the same. There's no drugs and alcohol allowed at any of our events.
But do you think that our kids or us as people, when we understand where we come from and we're grounded in that past, that can help that's actually prevention?
Yeah.
Because knowing who you are is part of the problem when people get drug and alcohol.
Exactly, and bringing us back to our roots always help to keep us centered and balanced, basically. Getting in a canoe, you got to balance out the canoe. So you got to balance out your life. If you're spiritual, emotional, physical, what's the other one? Spiritual, physical, emotional, and mental. If one of those is out of balance, you got to fix it. So you got to somehow bring that back. Same thing with the canoe. You have to be in balance while you get in the canoe to keep
We
the
have
race.
to work as a team, right?
Yeah.
It's not about me or it's not about the skipper. All of us have to work together, and it teaches us how to get along. It teaches us how to be better human beings.
So another thing that I noticed that the tribes are really big on is potlatch.
Yeah.
Where you give to other people.
Yeah. You get a gift.
That's
you get
part
fed.
of. That's not even like a. It's not an option.
Yeah.
That's how we show our wealth. Our wealth is the ability to give. If you're one who holds on or accumulating, that's a sickness, right? So the way that we show our wealth is to be able to be philanthropic and to give. And it also is a foundation for people to recognize certain things in our lives. So when they show up, we give them something and they agree with it. If they don't agree with what we're doing, they don't show up and they don't accept the gift, right?
And you guys, we're going to talk more about that a little bit this afternoon with some other leaders in the tribe about the giving and some of the cool things you're doing with the Baloney
Boys Ranch.
Yeah, the Boys Ranch.
Boys and Girls Ranch. Yeah.
And it's some amazing things going on here. But we are here in Coos Bay for the Milluck Salmon Celebration, and this is all part of it. And what we're trying to do is just show you guys kind of what they do, what's happening here, and you guys can come down. It's today and tomorrow, and enjoy the salmon, enjoy the music.
Weather.
Later on the show, we're going to be going and showing you some traditional dance and also music. And then tomorrow, we've got a really interesting story of a gentleman who never knew he was Coquel until finally somebody spilled the beans, and he moved all the way from the East Coast to here to find his people. It's an amazing story, so we're just going to keep sharing the stories of these folks with you. So we'll be back in a little bit, but right now I think we're going to go eat. Oh, and we're going to show you after lunch, we're going to show you how they cook the salmon with actually your brother.
Yeah.
So Jason's going to show us how he cooks salmon. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
so
you, Rick.
guys, share this on your page, you guys. We'll be back in a little bit.